Well, good Wednesday morning to everybody. Trucker Todd here, and time for another video. In this video, we're going to discuss something that affects not only every single American, or let's call it 99%, but probably everybody in the world, with the exception of if you live on an island all by yourself, you're self-sufficient, or maybe if you live in like one of those remote tribes that have cut off from all contact to the world, this might not affect you, but pretty much everybody else this affects. I'm talking, of course, about the supply chain crisis right now and the supposed driver shortage. We're going to talk about those things and a lot more in today's video, so I hope you'll stay with me, and we'll definitely get to something that I guarantee pertains to you. Also, I want to tell you, make an announcement starting next Wednesday. You guys have asked for it, and it's coming back. Every Wednesday, I'm going to do a 60-second rant video about something, and I'll be curious to get those thoughts about you. What's your rant? What is the thing that you would like to rant about? Shoot me an email at truckertodd806@gmail.com. And you never know, you and I might have the same rant, or leave me a comment below. Also, real quickly, you guys give me a thumbs up, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. That really helps me a lot. For other ways that you could help me out, look down in the description below. There's a lot of great information there, and I try to update it periodically. But let's not waste any more time. Let's cue up the music and get into today's subject. Here we go.
And this is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down, flying by these road signs with home on my mind, with these wheels turning round, for my family and for my kids, for this life I wanna live. And this is why I do this.
And we're back. Yesterday, folks, I was driving. I went by a rail yard, and containers were stacked 5 high. Guys are reporting out in California at the ports out there, they're waiting 6, 8, sometimes 10 or 12 hours to get their containers. So if freight is stacked up, and also I hadn't even mentioned the ships that are being held out at sea and not even allowed to port at the docks. So what's the deal? Why are prices going through the roof, and why is it so hard to get stuff? Why is there a supply chain crisis? Well, let's look at this. For one thing, and we'll talk about how it affects everybody. Christmas is coming up. We've just come out of a pandemic. I guess you could say it's still going on. But demand always goes up this time of year. Prices go up. We got Thanksgiving right around the corner, and we've got this problem where people aren't wanting to return to work. Now the government is mandating vaccinations for certain people, and people are walking off the job. Police, firefighters, pilots, stewardesses, nurses, doctors are refusing to work because of the mandate. They don't want the shot. Now, in another video, we could debate if the shot's a good idea or not, and if the government has the right to do this to you. But even, let's take the airline industry, for example. If 10% of them walk off the job, the airline is in big trouble. They're already canceling flights. Imagine if there is a driver shortage, and we can debate that possibly in another video. Maybe Friday or Monday we'll do that. But if there is a driver shortage, imagine if 10% of those walked off the job. Now, I don't believe there's a driver shortage. Everywhere I go, I still have trouble finding parking, especially in the evenings after the 8 to 5 truck drivers stop. And so I don't think that there's a driver shortage, but I do think there's a problem. I went to a warehouse the other day, and 2 of the 3 forklift drivers had called in sick. And so I think we've got a work ethic problem more than anything when it comes to this supply chain issue. A lot of guys aren't wanting to return to work. Also, there's a chip shortage that's hurting a lot of people. And some of that is legitimate. A lot of the factories in China that make those chips were shut down for a while because of the pandemic, and they're playing catch up. Now, what's this going to mean for Joe Sixpack? Well, for one thing, count on prices to continue to rise. Look, folks, even if whatever political party you're for, if you think the Democrats are the answer, even if the Democrats took over Congress, had the presidency, and had all the answers, it would take some time for change to be enacted. And it's because it's got to go through the legislative process, then it's got to be enacted, then companies have to make changes. And so it's not something that happens overnight. And same thing, even if you think the Republicans are the answer, Congress has to, they've got to win Congress. Then 2 years from now, they got to win the presidency. Then they've got to implement changes, and then they've got to enact those changes at the company level. So we're at least several months and probably a few years away from any change. So expect prices to continually rise and things to get more and more expensive. Now, what's this mean for the truck driver? Well, J.B. Hunt just reported that their average revenue was up 70 cents a mile over what it was just a year ago. That came out about 5 days ago. I read it on Freight Waves if you guys want to check that article out. And so that means theoretically companies should be making more money. As you guys know, J.B. Hunt is a very large company, and they're a really good thermometer for how the trucking industry is going, how freight rates are going, things like that. Whether you like J.B. Hunt or not, that's kind of irrelevant for these purposes. So, if you are a mileage driver, you should be talking to your company. It doesn't matter if your company or lease purchase or what. If you are a mileage paid driver, you should be talking to your company about a raise. Because if J.B. Hunt got a 70-cent revenue increase over the past year, your company probably got 50 cents to $1. I say that because that'd be the average of 70 cents raise over the past year as well. And right now they're pocketing that extra revenue. Now, when you talk to them about a raise, be tactful, be smart, but realize that they're looking long term, and that's what they're going to tell you. And they're going to say, yeah, but rates could drop any minute, but they're not going to. Now, I'm not suggesting you're going to get 50 or 70 cents a mile raise, but maybe you could get a nickel or 10 cents a mile raise, maybe 20 cents a mile raise. My point is, you don't know if you don't ask. So talk to your company about a raise. If your percentage, you've already got the raise, you're seeing it reflected in your rates. Now, fuel is higher too. So you're already reaping the benefits, and they're probably going to be there for some time to come. As far as what we all need to be doing right now, especially as truck drivers, you guys are going to do better than you've probably ever done in trucking before. You're probably going to make more money than you've ever made before in trucking. If you're outside of trucking, looking at trucking as a profession, now's probably a good time to get into it. If you're at a company and you hate where you're at, now's probably a good time to change companies, because everybody's hiring, and trucking companies are willing to negotiate and make deals, and because they all need drivers, every one of them. And so if you're considering DART, now's a great time to come. And I've got my recruiter's information down below, and in the description, I'd ask you to contact her and give her my driver number of 58180, and she'll get you fixed up. If you're looking at other companies, now's the time to do it. Don't wait. And also, just because you're doing good doesn't mean that your neighbor is doing good right now. So if you know somebody, a family member or a neighbor that's struggling and you can help them out, then give them a helping hand. Maybe if you're involved with the church, put a little more in the offering plate right now. There's the downside to this is, as prices rise and as people refuse to go back to work for religious reasons or for whatever reason, fear, whatever. And by the way, while we're talking about fear, you should never make an important decision in a moment of fear. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. But if you see somebody struggling, family, neighbor, something like that, help them out. Put a little more in the offering plate at church. Your church is probably helping people in your community that you don't even know about. And say a prayer at night when you go to sleep for everybody, for the world right now. It's a mess. A lot of people are suffering. And fortunately, there's never been a better time to be a truck driver. So we're blessed to have this CDL that we have and to be able to do what we like and travel the country and things like that. But anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my soapbox. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. You guys join me next Wednesday. We'll have some videos before then, but join me next Wednesday and we'll talk about, or we'll do our first 60-second rant video. All right, folks, take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.